Hey guys, I haven't done a video in a couple of days. I am well. I'm in good spirits, and I've been just doing some spiritual work. I may speak on that in a later video. I may not. Um, One thing about now, and maybe this is just because Trump's not in office anymore, so there isn't that daily dose of outrage where he's talking about kung flu or he's making fun of retarded people or he's talking about we can nuke hurricanes to stop them or using disinfectants and UV light on people that have COVID to hit them in the body and uh, you know uh, talking about Nazis. There being great people on both sides of Charlottesville, where there were Nazis and Klansmen. Sometimes I really believe that because we don't have that daily dose of outrage, the left is like it's just making up outrage. It's just like taking police body cam videos and like they're actively doing the things the right accuses us of doing, which is not right. Which is not right. Which is that's bad because that isn't what we should be doing. Um this week the Robert E. Lee statue, and I believe another statue as well, was removed from Charlottesville, Virginia. And I don't look at Ben Shapiro. One thing about the new me, I don't want to do a lot of content on attacking other people on the left. I don't want to do a lot of content on attacking other people who are uh, on the right who are engaging in, white, what we call it, white aggrievement. I don't want to do a lot of topics on that. I don't think that's beneficial. Sam Cedar basically was making a point with this that Ben Shapiro's remarks weren't really rational. Ben Shapiro basically said like we should there should have been like this spirit of I don't say holiness or a solemnness to removing the statutes, and that I guess a black man raised his fist when he took it down, and Ben Shapiro's like, well, they're trying to. I guess he's really saying that it isn't so much taking down the Robert E. Lee statue is really bad. It's that we're going to replace it with something that's much worse. If I'm not giving it justice, forgive me. I think that's what he was saying. Then he said like the black people acted like taking down the statue of Robert E. Lee was similar to taking down the statue of Saddam Hussein at the beginning of the Iraq War. There's a lot to get into here, so just bear with me as I try to flesh this out and we get to the meat. Saddam Hussein never did anything to me and my family, or any black people, I don't think, in America. Saddam Hussein was a person that wasn't doing what the U.S. government wanted him to do. And he was trying to get off the dollar, from what I understand, the petrodollar. I think he had already done it before the war started. Saddam Hussein was someone the U.S. government worked with back in the 80s with the Iran-Iraq war. This is what happens when you know history. This is what happens when you're talking to an intelligent black man. You're not talking to this white aggrievement, reactionary bigot nonsense where it's just, if I step on your toe, you come back and decapitate me. No, I'm talking about him doing that. Someone step on his toe, he comes back and decapitates him. No, and everything, putting 100 on that, putting 100 on 10 all the time. No. Saddam Hussein he was somebody that basically, what do you say? Maybe a SOB, but he's our SOB. Not celebrating Saddam Hussein. But you can't compare that to someone who never did anything to America. That, to me, the Iraq War, the Afghan War was about revenge and blood for blood. What did the Bible say? Eye for an eye. So that was, what did they say? Eye for an eye make the whole world blind. So you did all this. You did the wars and all that. You really achieved nothing over there. You achieved nothing at all. Robert E. Lee owned slaves. And I understand Robert E. Lee was, even for a white man of his day, was quite vicious. That they said if a slave escaped or a slave disrespected him, that he was like, they would whip him and they put salt on his back. Yeah. I'm sorry, white people. Saddam Hussein and Robert E. Lee are not on the same level for me. And I'm sure for many black people out there, they would agree with that. Many black people out there who don't even know who Saddam is, couldn't even tell you anything about his history, would say the same. Ben Shapiro is only saying that the only reason why he's saying that it's okay to have statutes is because socially he recognizes the country has moved on. And I've talked on here many times before about how, in my opinion, the conservative movement is shifting gears, they're backpedaling, that there's been a real shift from the age of Trump. That the age of Trump was a gift and a curse for the right, because what it really was, this is what it really was. For so long, you've had white people, white conservatives, the racists, the bumpkins, the reactionary bigots, have screamed about civil war. If you go back to the Turner Diaries, this is nothing new. They've had this wet dream of the right that we're going to have civil war, we're going to hang the politicians and all that. That's hang them high. There's nothing new about that. What happened with Trump is that they put the rubber to the road and they found out that dog won't hunt, that boat won't float, that plane won't fly. You don't believe me? Look at all the people that look at the Unite the Right movement, the second one they had in D.C., where there were thousands of people that came out and protested it, and they didn't even have 100 people. Police had to protect them, put them on the subway. Even the transit people didn't want to move them. The union was like, no, we don't want to do with that. When you had January the 6th and all that violence, I've said it before, that was about scaring people, because they're often the loudest people in the room. I see that at work. They're the loudest people, and they're willing to go out here and be loud and be vicious and be nasty. They're willing to do that. But it doesn't make them powerful. Being the loudest person in the room does not make you the most powerful person in the room. It doesn't. We have all these retired generals, as well as generals, come out and speak against what happened January the 6th. Speak against racism. Same thing with, I think, Lafayette Park. That's when they did that too. They were talking about, no. That's when Trump was trying to do civil war. He was trying to declare civil war and martial law. He couldn't do it. Retired military. And I know now retired military still has a hand. They still have some control and influence over the world we live in, over the military industrial complex. Now, you had the Air Force. The Air Force had like a 2.5 hour seminar on YouTube talking about racism, with the head of the Air Force, a white man, the top NCO is a black man. They got rid of all the Confederate flags on military bases. Don't forget that. Talking about then took down all the Confederate names of the generals. Milley, the head of the Joint Chiefs, Milley, he was under Trump, he's under Biden now. He was so afraid that Trump would declare martial law that he made a policy, and it still stands today. You can't even be in the capital region wearing camouflage unless you're on like some type of training. Because he was so scared that Trump would get a bunch of soldiers together that are going to lunch or something and take a picture of them in camouflage and say, oh, see, they're going, the troops are coming. That's how scared he was. To have all these military people speak out against what Trump was talking about and speak out on racism, to me, it means the right lost. Not just culturally. They lost in the thing that matters the most, which is the establishment. They lost. Look at all these commercials you had. Anyway, that's why Ben Shapiro shifted gears. That's why he has shifted gears, talking about that's a big move for conservatives to come from. They shouldn't come down to, okay, they can come down, but y'all should be respectful about it. They are, and let me say this too. Sam Cedar made a great point on it that if you go to New York City, you walk down the street, you see a lot of folks that are, you see a lot of buildings that have been torn down. A lot of New York history has been torn down because that's the way things are. It isn't racism. It isn't disrespect to anybody that's lived and passed on. Society evolves. It isn't always a bad thing. We are evolving. We are moving to human betterment. And we're thinking about, hey, there's people that did things in the past. Maybe we don't need this symbol, this iconography to stand any longer in our world that we're creating. You can call that racist. You can call it bad if you want, but is it? I think that this is reactionary nonsense, and it's an embarrassment. This isn't even hard to really come at as a black man. That you think black people are going to stand there as we take down the statue of the man that was running the Confederacy, a group that went to war with the U.S. government with the sole goal of keeping the practice of maintaining slavery. And you think black people are going to just sit there and just, and you think that because a black man raised his fist, that doesn't indicate anything. I didn't look at it, and it doesn't indicate anything. It indicates we're black. Listen to me. I'm a black man. Listen to me now. And it also reminds you that to be a black person, to be a black man in America, even when you are given little things that don't even affect white people, because I guarantee you taking down that statue did not make a white man lose his job. I guarantee that statue of Bobby Lee did not take $1 out of any white man's pocket or hurt his family. But the fact that you do that, the fact that you gain even an iota of power in this country, that scares them. Don't believe me? Why would he even make a video about that if it didn't? That scares you. It's like Trump talking about they're going to put a statue of Al Sharpton up. This is the conspiracy. This is the world they live in. There's this world of conspiracy theories and mystery and magic and incantations and everything's hidden behind smoke. And no, man. As a great man once said, you don't need conspiracy theories when everybody thinks the same. And I put that in my head. I really believe that. These statues weren't created after Civil War. These statues were created in the 1900s to remind us, to remind the Yankees what the South was and what, for many parts of it, still is. Those statues were designed to invoke fear into the hearts of people who look back at slavery and recognize it for the evil, disgusting practice that it was. Those statues, to me, are just like gun racks in the pickup trucks. Those statues are like many other parts of the informal signs of white supremacy, which are designed to scare you, which are designed to invoke fear, to keep you in your place, to make you shut your mouth, and to make you remember we might let you in here. We might let you live here. We might even let you get to position of power, but don't you ever forget who and what we are and what we come from. It's designed to make you feel uncomfortable when you're sitting up there at the light in the city center, when you're going down some road. It's designed to make you feel uncomfortable. That's all it is. Thank you for listening.